To say it was a total renovation is it's like not even capturing what it really was.
Oh
We
no.
came into this process. We said we have four walls and a roof, and that's all we have. We learned very quickly we had four walls. And then we
Oh,
got hurricaned and we had three and a half walls.
oh
So
no. Oh no.
we had to get a new roof, had to rip up the foundation, new electrical, plumbing, not even to talk about all like the pretty stuff, like the seats and the screen and the projector and like the fun stuff.
Mm.
It was just a total overhaul. So it has been a long time coming, but we finally opened up just a month ago now. So yeah, we're really, really excited to get it back open.
This is the Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Off the Break Podcast. I am Kyle and joining me is Shayla.
Hi.
And on this special episode, we have a special guest. Here joining us is Hannah Hockman from the Beach Theater.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you again
Thank you.
for thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk with y'all.
Yeah, we've been loving seeing you re renovate your theater and everything, and what has come up to you opening the theater. So I think you have a lot of insight to share with our other theaters that we book for.
Definitely, because the renovations you've had to do is not just tearing out a wall or putting in new seats. It's a whole
Yeah,
process that you
the whole
went through,
building. Yeah.
like from the ground up, essentially.
Yeah, it has been a crazy a year and a half, almost 2 years now. The Beach Theater is an 85-year-old cinema that unfortunately, just over 13 years ago now, went dark. And for one reason or another, the owner of the theater unfortunately was not able to sustain it. Then there was this whole big family drama, and unfortunately, it just led to this theater being closed for so long. It also really was this community hub for my little beach town out here. There wasn't really a lot to do out here other than go to the theater. So it's definitely been missed by our community for 13 years now. I came in a year and a half ago, started the renovation process, and to say it was a total renovation is it's like not even capturing what it really was.
Mhm.
We
No.
came into this process. We said we have four walls and a roof, and that's all we have. We learned very quickly we had four walls. And then we
Oh,
got hurricaned and we had three and a half walls.
Oh
So
no.
oh no.
we had to get a new roof, had to rip up the foundation, new electrical, plumbing, not even to talk about all like the pretty stuff, like the seats and the screen and the projector and like the fun stuff.
Mm.
It was just a total overhaul. So it has been a long time coming, but we finally opened up just a month ago now. So yeah, we're really, really excited to get it back open.
Well, congratulations for the opening after all that hard work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The opening was like just so electric. It was so fun seeing how many people got to come back to the theater that either used to come to the theater all the time or they moved to the area and they never had the chance to be there. Or people that used to come to theater that now have kids and get to bring their kids to the theater. So yeah, the first several weeks of opening was just such a celebration of getting this place back open.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're a local of this area, so was that just essentially the reason for reopening it and being part of this whole thing to begin with, or was there anything else that attributed to it?
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to help get the theater open. I first heard about the Beach Theater in 2017. I was going to Eckerd College, which was right down the street here,
Mhm.
and they told us about like all the cool historical places in the area. We were at this really cool little museum that's over on Paso Grill out here on the beach. And one of the things that the museum curator was talking about was the Beach Theater. And that was my first time hearing about it. And I was like, what is this cool little theater? It was just cool to know that there was a historic theater in the town where I moved to study theater.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, the next words out of the museum's curator's mouth, he said, I'm not sure if they've torn it down yet.
Uh-oh.
And so I was like, okay, what does that mean? That like just sent me down a rabbit hole of like, what is this theater? Why, like, what does that mean? I'm not sure if they've torn it down yet. And that's when I learned about the extensive history of this theater. And I had called my parents because I was like, hey, because my parents are from here. And I'm like, do you know about this little theater? Like, is there a way I can help get it reopened? And my parents started laughing because they used to go to the Beach Theater on dates. So they're
Oh,
like, yes, we know the theater very well. So that just kind of set me down the path of like, how can I help reopen this thing? I never dreamed I would own it. Like, first and foremost, never
Yeah.
thought that that would be in the realm of possibility. But the opportunity came up. So I jumped on it and here we are.
nice. Were you able to keep any of the old aspects of the theater?
We were able to keep a few things. We kept some of the old movie reels. Like these are some of the old original reels behind us. When we got some of these, there were like still some trailers on them, which were
Oh,
really cool. Some of the really, really big reels we still have. The original projector was still in the theater. It was 85-year-old film projector. It was like between 5 to 600 pounds. We ended up donating it to a museum. They've restored it. It's now on display. It's so pretty. One of the things we really wanted to save was the original stage that was just behind the old movie theater screen. They used to do like they would play the talkies and have piano in the background, and that's where the piano was on this really cool stage. It was 85 years old, but unfortunately, with Hurricane Helene, it got hurricaned, as we say.
Yeah.
But we were able to save the wood of the stage, and we actually turned it into keychains. So
Oh, so
we have
clever.
a
that's
couple hundred of
fantastic.
these little keychains now, and they are burned on the side to say the Beach Theater established 1940. So these are our little souvenir of the original theater.
You marketing genius.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, for sure. The marketing you guys have been doing as well as the merchandising you guys have been doing has been really impressive. I had no idea about the keychain thing, but
I didn't either.
one
That's
thing
awesome.
one thing I did come across on was that you had an old projector that you weren't able to save, I believe, but then you were able to have it become part of your merchandising campaign. Did you want to elaborate more about that as well?
Yeah, yeah. So that original projector, it was so cool, and everyone was telling me to save it, and I wanted to keep it so bad, but the theater is
Hmm.
just not that big. The projector is massive.
Yeah.
So after we decided we were going to donate it, my graphic designer, he got a bunch of content of the projector. His name's Ace Muccio. We love him. He created our logo. He creates pretty much everything that we have on our shop, and he came in with this really cool design for the projector to put it on a t-shirt. So that's kind of our way to pay tribute to what was originally there. And we have a couple of the big reels on the t-shirt, and it says 1940, which is the year the
Mm.
theater was open. So that's people were like, "What's like 19 millimeter?" Because it's like etched in the side of a film. Like, no, like
Yeah.
that's the Easter egg to the date. It's not 19 millimeter. So, but yeah, that's our little way of paying tribute to the projector.
No, that's awesome.
Well, it sounds like then you've been progressing with your business and that you're paying homage to the history behind this theater. Are you feeling like there is a conflict though between doing that as well as trying to reach out to like the next generation of possible movie lovers then when it comes to, trying to open a theater on top of the other ways of entertainment that we have now? Like it's just become a lot more competitive. I'm sure you know this as well, but have you felt like that sort of conflict with your identity or just as business practices?
That's a really good question. I think, one of our goals in starting the theater is making it such a transformative space for any kind of entertainment. So the theater has always been first and foremost a movie theater, and it's going to be that.
Hmm.
But my background has also been in live theatrical producing and directing. So figuring out ways to tap into that community. There's also a very vibrant live concert scene around the Tampa Bay area that has not really been tapped to St. Pete Beach proper yet. So to create a concert venue as well, it was also our goal. I think people nowadays want to be entertained. And they want to do that in different ways. That's not just sitting at home on the couch watching a streaming service.
Mhm.
They also desire community. I think that's especially prevalent in my specific community, especially with everything that this beach town has been through in the last year. We had three hurricanes last year that hit us directly. If there's any time to create a community, it's now.
Yeah.
So creating spaces that are for gathering and celebrating and being entertained, a place that's safe for people. I think that's something that is just going to get stronger in the turmoil of this world that we're in right now.
Mhm.
And that's something that we can offer is a bit of an escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can agree with that as well. For the past few years now, our business has always been recommending to open up your theater to being something more than just a theater, as much as you should take ownership of that aspect, but at the same time, there does need to be other avenues of making revenue. So we think that's very smart of you to be leaning into having live performances, using the stage to your advantage, uh, because, like you were saying, there is communities out there that are wanting to be in live spaces, but also it's just a bonus to gain more revenue.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think, most theaters in the live theater sense and in the movie theater sense, no one's going to survive off of one thing right now.
Mhm.
And you shouldn't have to put yourself in a box anyway. I think art overall, the cross genre of everything is definitely something that's more and more prevalent. I mean, you see that in the live music scene all the time. Cross genres is just something that's going to be stronger. So yeah, I think most theaters that are either live theater proper or movie theater proper should look into different ways to kind of mix it up a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you've seen a lot of success with that. I've seen your grosses and everything. You're doing fantastic.
Thank you.
How do you tailor your events and your movies to your community's needs?
So far, we've basically just been talking with the community, seeing what they want to see. We've done a lot of content that is specific to St. Pete Beach. So we had the 40th anniversary of Summer Rental, which was so much fun. That was shot all across the Tampa Bay area, and even our theater was in it for a brief moment, and they're in the middle of the movie. So we hosted just like a fun little party. Said, it's the 40th anniversary of Summer Rental. Did a couple screenings of it. It's a 40-year-old movie. We didn't know how it was going to go and ended up doing so well. It was unbelievable. We had people that were in the movie back in the day come see
Oh,
it, and we got to treat them like movie stars,
Wow.
which was so fun for everyone. Russ, the lifeguard, he's gonna hate that I say this because he was so embarrassed, but I'm gonna embarrass him even more. He was at our movie, and we got to basically just embarrass him in front of his whole family. But it was so fun. Yeah, I think there's something to be said for curating your content for what your audience wants to see. And as much of a challenge as that is, it's also a lot of fun in figuring out what works and what doesn't.
Mhm.
There are some things that we put on the calendar that I thought were really going to do well, and it's like, try again. And that's fine. We're in a time where this theater is definitely learning and changing, and we haven't been open in 13 years, so the demographic is like all over the place. Our marketing strategy is all over the place. We're just gonna throw it at the wall and see what sticks.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
that must be okay at the same time. That has to be sort of freeing to just be able to, do whatever you want in a sense, within reason, I suppose, but just be able to see what works, but also play to an audience that is just, as you were saying, a bit of all over the place, but at the same time, just is asking for that same type of community or same type of like coming together event.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And we are so lucky because our theater is so in the public eye. People want to support it, especially because it has been out of commission for so long. Whether it's, patrons wanting to come and support it, filmmakers saying, "Hey, I want to, give you this really cool opportunity to make a lot of money on this film," and just like donating their time and donating the film for the night, things like that we've just been so incredibly lucky to be on the receiving end from. I think there is such a strong arts community in St. Pete in the Tampa Bay area that I think a lot of people don't really know about. But really, this place is going to thrive because the community wants it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's helpful for especially our industry, I feel.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm very new to the film side of things. I definitely come from the live theater background, so
Mhm.
I was very nervous starting this process of diving into what it takes to run a movie theater and trying to make connections with the film community. And people have been so incredibly welcoming to me. I've been so lucky on that end.
Mhm.
Yeah, we did see your IndieWire article, and it did say that you are a Gen Z business owner. Have you run into any struggles being such a young, like Generation Z business owner?
Oh, I mean, hmm. You know,
Maybe we shouldn't talk about that.
there's definitely been a little bit of a push pull in a few business meetings where
Yeah.
and I'm also I feel like I act very youthful sometimes. I dress very young. If you look at the photos from our opening night, I had the big poofy blue dress and a bow in my hair. Like
So
that's just who I
beautiful. I
am.
loved it.
I'm not gonna change that either. Like that's
Yeah.
just what I do. There's a
Or
bow
should
in my
you?
hair right
No,
now.
absolutely not.
But there have been meetings where I'm talking with, producers, with people that want to book the theater for their events, with people with concert managers, I'll give a very vague reference to one. This one did not work out, so I can talk about it. But there
Yeah.
was a concert manager that wanted to come in and look at the sound system and the lighting system, possibly use the projector for some stuff. And I was walking him through everything, and he kept asking me, "Well, who's your technical director?" Me. And okay, well, who's your projectionist? Also me. And then I showed him, okay, yeah, here's how you would turn on the speakers. Here's how you would focus a light. Here's the GDC where I would program your content for you. And he looks at me and he goes, "Wow, you really do know a lot about this." And I said, "Thanks. I built it."
Yeah,
I
I do
have
it
to.
all. Like, what do you want from me?
I literally built the room we're standing in and I put all the equipment in there. I hope I know what I'm talking about. So that's kind of been something my friends like to reference to me when I said I was like, "Thanks, I built it." Like that's kind of been a jab at me.
That's
But
a
I
flex.
think, it's true. It's like, and I get it. People don't expect that. They come in looking for a technical director. The technical director doesn't normally look like me, and I get that. Or the projectionist or whoever. But yeah, I think that's something that people in this industry are probably just gonna have to get used to a little bit more is, the next generation is here. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's great because one, I think authenticity is way better than not than being something you're not. So, I mean, for every one of those encounters you have, you're gonna have five encounters that appreciate like
Yeah,
the drive and how you do things as a business owner. So you probably aren't
absolutely.
worrying about it anyway, but we don't think you need to worry about it.
They're just fun stories for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my front of house manager. Every time something like that happens, because he's also very young too, and it's just
Mhm.
Yeah.
really the two of us running this thing. And we always look at each other and we say, "It'll be good for the memoir one day."
Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious. Well, and yeah, being so young, you bring like a new ideas to theaters and everything. And so we've been looking at your blog and your YouTube videos that
Yes, we
you
have.
make. And I think Kyle has some questions for you specifically about them.
Well, I mean, for myself, I just appreciated that you are opening up to the public about your journey when it comes to reopening this thing, because I do feel like it's a way to engage with the audience. Like you just need to find these ways, and we have so many platforms, so many opportunities to do that now that it is kind of a good way of like engaging with your audience and your community. But I do wonder if you think like it is a good thing to lean into the social media side of things, especially with like posting about a business on YouTube or on TikTok, if you've seen success and good fortune come out of that, and despite those platforms sort of being a competitor to movies now, do you think it's not such a bad thing? Like they aren't like hurting you in a sense?
Yeah, that's a great question. When we first started this, we had a product that was not tangible. So for us, social media was the gateway to reaching our audience. We went public that we purchased the Beach Theater on March 1st, 2024, knowing that we would have at least a year of no one walking in the doors
Hmm.
before we were able to sell our first movie ticket. So for me, when we first made that announcement, there were reporters knocking on our front door that morning, literally within 2 hours. Um, People were hungry for the content. They wanted to know what the theater looked like. So my goal in the vlogs, the YouTube stuff was trying to curate an an idea of what we're really looking at here and say this is going to be a lot of work. We have literally nothing in the building. Here's all the steps we need to do, and to try to keep that audience engaged until we were able to open the doors and sell our first movie. um, Continuing that, I definitely think that YouTube and social media in general is the ticket to getting people engaged with your business, no matter what it is. I have people coming up to me every single day. I can't go to the grocery store without someone saying, "Hey, I watch your YouTube videos." And we only have a couple hundred views on every video, but that's a couple hundred views of people that live on the same island I do. So it's also very much, geographical, and people that are in your area see your content. So I think, everyone should tap into social media. Absolutely. Should it be your number one focus? I don't know. I think, it's going to depend on your audience. We find that our Facebook audience is stronger than our Instagram audience. We find that our Instagram audience is stronger than our YouTube audience. We find that our email subscribers are going to be the first ones to buy a movie theater ticket. So it's also figuring out, where are you getting your best return and where should you focus your energy? Especially for a business like mine, where we're kind of a two-man band here. It's me and my house manager. So figuring out where to focus our energy is also a big, step. But to talk a little bit about how, we post a lot of YouTube content and YouTube is a competitor, that's a real thing too. But to give you a different kind of scenario, we vlogged the entire renovation process. And on top of that, we were also filming a documentary of the renovation process to which people had to come to the theater and buy a ticket to see. Now, those were essentially the same thing. One of them was me sitting here on the floor saying, "Here's what we did this month. The plumbing didn't work. Okay, we're gonna go back tomorrow and try again." And the documentary that we created with an actual production company was a lot more polished. Definitely saw a lot more of the nitty gritty too. Of here's all the drama we had with the construction. Here's all the permit drama we had, and those two things were two very real views of the renovation process that were both very successful independently from each other. We made a lot of money on the renovation documentary, and people still saw the whole process throughout the whole year. So I think, it also comes down to what's your content. If you're putting it out there for free, you can still put something behind a paywall, and if it's interesting, people are going to pay for it. People want to see that.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. Well, do you want to add on then about that whole documentary experience? Like, how did you find this crew? What was the thought process behind it? Anything else you want to share about it?
Yeah, the documentary was an insane process. It was so fun. We worked with a production company called Lunar Speedboat Productions. They're a cute couple, they're good friends of mine. And it just started with I went to lunch with Alexandria, who's the producer of the company, and we were having coffee just down the street from the theater. And I hadn't really told her too much about what I was doing. This was way before anything about the news came out.
Mm.
And I was just like, yeah, I just like kind of want to show you this thing that I'm working on here on Corey Avenue. So we walked over to the theater and I unlocked the doors and she's like, what are we doing here in this abandoned theater? And I was like, so we're scheduled to go or we were scheduled to close on the theater in 30 days. And immediately she's picking up her phone to call her husband, Travis, who's the videographer and director. and she's like, get here, like we need to start filming this. They're just filmmakers. They just do it for the love of the game. We just wanted to get the footage of what this process was going to be like because it was something that probably would never happen to any of us ever again, renovating an abandoned movie theater. So we
Yeah.
were like, let's just document this in every way we can. And then about 8 months into the filming of the documentary, I was like, what do you guys want to do with this footage? What's the cutoff here? We can film this till after we open, till our first year. What's the goal of what we filmed? And they said they want to make it a documentary of strictly the renovation to opening day. So I said, okay, why don't we include this in the opening day? So we already had on our calendar for our opening like a little bit of a soft opening where we would show just like a free movie, then we would have like a little friends and family night, and then we would have opening day. So that gave them two opportunities to film quote unquote opening, the soft opening and the friends and family, and then produce the documentary and show it on opening day. And that's what we did. So it was so crazy and so cool to see how fast they put it all together too. Because we filmed for a year and a half, and the majority of the documentary came from the last 2, 3 days. Um, it was so because it was all the finishing touches, it was people coming in for the first time, so it was so cool to see, and it was so fun working with them, and I know they're just super proud of it. I'm super proud of it. But yeah, it's a great story too.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Just hearing it from you.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. It's called A New Wave, by the way. It's A New Wave, the revival of the Beach Theater, which I just think is a really cool name, being out here on the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Did you have another question?
I didn't see this, but Kyle saw that you had psychics come in your theater.
We did. That is something that I did. Yes. So back when we first announced that we bought the theater, I was getting emails from, everyone under the sun of, wanting, asking questions, how can they help, which was incredible. But one of them really stood out to me. She's a local psychic out here on St. Pete Beach, and she wanted to come put any lingering spirits to rest. Um, Whether or not you believe in any part of that, I'm not sure if I fully subscribe to it, but I figured let's start out on the right foot. This place has been abandoned for 13 years. If anything needs to be put to rest, I would like her to do it before I start tearing up the floor. So she came in, and she had this like little device on her phone that would like say words that the spirits were saying, and she was wandering around the theater and just trying to get the story of all of the spirits in there. And I just like let her be. I was like, go ahead, talk to your spirits, and then I'll come check on you. So I come out like about 10 minutes after she's there, and I'm walking up to her, and her phone starts saying manager, director, debut, owner, as I'm walking over to her. And I'm like, hi. And she goes, oh, they want to talk to you. And I'm like, that's okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
you're like, I'm all right. I'll pass.
I'm good. I'm good, girl. But I'm glad that they know I'm here.
Yeah.
She then the other thing that really got me was we have these vintage marquee letters, like the big red letters that stick on the outside of the marquees. And I had just taken those home 2 days beforehand to clean them because they were really gross. So they were sitting on my balcony at home. While she's wandering around with her little phone, she stands over the spot where the letters were sitting for like a decade and were not there anymore as of 2 days prior. And her phone starts saying letters, 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 and it keeps repeating it.
Oh
I'm
man,
like,
that's crazy.
that that was weird. That one got me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she told me that all of the spirits know what's happening here. They're all at peace. Everyone's very happy. There's no like animosity. There's no like no one's jealous or anything. Everyone's just very much at peace here. So I was like, okay, like great. That's good
Got
to know.
you got the
Um,
approval.
Yeah,
got the
absolutely. You
approval.
must be doing something
Um,
right. Yeah.
and then one other crazy thing that I've never really had like any crazy kind of ghost encounters. Like sometimes like the lights will turn off on us or whatever. However, since we've opened, there have definitely been something going on in that tech booth. I was up there for our first soft opening, the first time anyone was in the building seeing a film when we showed Barbie for our soft opening. And the very first screening, I'm up there in the tech booth by myself. I hit play on the projector and I swear to you, something pulled my hair.
No,
And
no.
I turn around. I thought for sure it was my friends messing with me. And I literally turn like I'm annoyed. I'm like, "What?" And there's no one there. I was like, "Okay,
Like we're shutting it down. This is the end.
that might have been something." But there is, and we always thank the ghosts every night, every time we leave. We say thank you so much for not messing with the projector. My friend who is my projectionist. He used to be a former projectionist. He's helped me a lot with trying to figure out, the playlist on the projector. He created our first playlist for Barbie. I came in that morning and the playlist was deleted. And I call him and I'm like we saved it. Like I don't know what to do because the playlist keeps getting deleted. And he said, "You need to make peace with those spirits in the tech booth." And I said, that's your technical advice. That's your technical support. Is make peace with the spirits. But I swear to God, he was right because after I start thanking them every night as I leave the building, nothing's on the other side of the room where it should be anymore. None of the text starts glitching, like everything's fine. So we just thank the ghosts every night for not messing with the tech booth, and we go home and we're all happy as can be.
Well, for a theater that has so much history, problem solved.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a theater that needs so much history or has it, you probably need like a newer tradition to like continue on the history. So, especially one that helps save it from like being destroyed or something by
Tampered
spirits,
with.
being tampered.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, it's an 85-year-old theater. I would be disappointed if it's not haunted.
Yeah,
Also
exactly.
next to a funeral home, like there should be
Oh,
something going on. But they're all very nice. They just like to mess with me.
They're bored.
Yeah.
well, I think with a story like that, that's a perfect way to be ending this episode,
Yes.
don't you
Oh,
think?
absolutely. Thank you so much, Hannah. This has
Yes.
been great.
Aw.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very much.
guys so much. This has been so fun.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
glad to hear that. So yeah, congrats again to the reopening of your theater. We can't wait to see the progress that it's going to take. And if you do have more blogs and videos coming up, we'd love to be able to share them as well. So don't be a stranger to send those our way.
Awesome. Will do. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye.